As you can see here, I have a folder where I have the Eduport template. I have deleted everything else that was given to me from when I bought the template, and I have left only the index file. This is the landing page. I'm going to go ahead and drag this onto the browser, and as you can see there, we have a first section, popular courses. We have a little block there of functionality, trending, some feedback, and other parts. This is the default landing page when you use this template. Now I have deleted everything else, and you can see here that I have an additional file called new, where I will clean up into components a lot of what is in this file. But for now, let me go ahead and show you as well what is inside of assets. There were a lot of things in this zip when I downloaded the template. Again, I deleted all the HTML files. I only left index, and inside of assets, I left everything else. Let me drag it over a bit, except for creating a new folder. And that new folder is going to hold all of the templates that I'm going to use to replace the sections on this file here. So I'm going to have one, say, for courses. I'm going to have one for these counters and one from this first banner. So you can see those. If I click into them, I have already created them. But now let me go ahead and show you those in Visual Studio. As you can see here, I have the same, I'm looking at the same folder. I have new index, and inside of index, I have assets. Inside of assets, I have components. And if I expand that there, you can see them. Now let's go ahead and take a look at index. As you can see here, let me go ahead and scroll to the top. This is a very big file. The very first part of it here is a nav bar. If we keep on going, this is a huge nav bar. And let's go ahead and move all the way till the end of the file. You can see there that it is close to 2,500 lines of code. That's a lot of code. Now here is the file that I created new. And what I did is I went section by section, pulled that out, put it into a component, reference that component, give myself a div into which I would put back the HTML that I had pulled out. And if we move to the end of this file, you can see there that I only have 81 lines of code. So from 2,500 lines of code to less than 100. It's a pretty drastic reduction, and you can see there that everything has been put into components. So if we were to look, say, at the nav bar here, let me go ahead and open up that file. You can see here that if I scroll to the top, I have a wrapper for the global namespace. The rest of it is simply that text variable that is going to hold the HTML. In this case, that's the nav bar. And let's go ahead and move to the bottom. Once I define that variable that holds the HTML for the nav bar, then we simply get a hold of that div within the HTML file. And then we assign onto that div the new HTML that we have defined on top. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Now let me go ahead and show you here the new file. And as you can see there, this file is much smaller. It has a placeholder for each of those sections, the nav bar. Then I have the main banner, the counter, courses, instructor, trending, reviews, and so on. And then I have here the section that loads the corresponding module, the corresponding component for each of these sections. So nav bar, banner, counter, and so on. So now let's go ahead and load that into the browser just to prove that in fact it does work. And so here we have the index.html, the one we dragged and dropped. And then over here we have our new. You can see there that my file system doesn't know how to give me a preview because I am doing all of those components and doing that dynamically within the browser. And so if I go ahead and drag and drop here, this onto the page, you can see here that this page looks the same as the other one. And in fact, if we reload here, you'll see here the numbers scrolling up on the counters are popular courses. And if I keep on going, you see everything all the way down to the footer. And if I look at the code behind, you can see here that this is my abbreviated file. I have here my divs, I have below my components, and this is pretty much all we have. So pretty trim file. So this is pretty much the same idea that I used previously when I did a component for just the basic Bootstrap file, except here I'm now doing it with the Eduport template, and I'm pulling out each of those sections into a cleaner design. Now we will clean it up a lot more to where we have pretty much just these two sections here, just the components and just the placeholders, the divs, and then just the components. But for now, we're just going to take one first step so I don't lose you and go too far forward. So make sure you can replicate this. And I'm going to go ahead and share this video now.